Last Sunday, on the first Sunday of Lent, we heard the story of Jesus being tempted in the desert. We hear that same gospel every year on the first Sunday of Lent. Today, we hear the story of the transfiguration of Jesus on the mountain, and we hear that one every year on the second Sunday of Lent. Which one do you relate to more closely? Well, for me, it's last week, because temptation is a part of my life, at least, and I presume yours. But visions like the one on the mountain has not been my experience in the Christian life. So this is sort of new territory. People come to monasteries and to other Christians for what they call spiritual direction, help in their journey back to God through the church, through life in the church. But the interesting thing is, in my experience at least, most of the people who come for spiritual direction they talk about themselves and God and the relationship. But they very seldom talk about Jesus and themselves and that relationship, which I find very strange, because the whole Christian religion is built on the idea and the fact that God has revealed himself to us in the person of Jesus. Remember, Philip, one of the apostles, came to Jesus one day and said, "Lord, show us the Father. Show us God." And what did Jesus say? And you can almost hear he was a little exasperated when he said this. "Philip, how long have I been with you, and you still do not know me? If you know me, you know the Father." To encounter Jesus is to encounter the Father, the creating God, the omnipotent being, whatever title or image one might have of him. One of the problems that I find with many people is that their image of God is of a rather stern, demanding, superior being. And that's not the image that Jesus showed us of the Father. So if we're going to spend our lives trying to be obedient and loving and doing all that God asks us to do, we have to understand the person that we're responding to. And to do that properly, we need to know Jesus. To encounter Jesus is to encounter God. A good practice for Lent, for Christians, is to take one gospel, doesn't matter which one, and slowly, day by day, read a small portion of it in order to get to reintroduce themselves, if you will, to the person of Jesus of Nazareth. Because if you know him, you know the Father. You won't make any mistakes about how God is a stern and judgmental God, because that's not the picture of God that Jesus portrays to us. If we started that practice early in Lent, just a little section every day consecutively, we would probably be at the Passion narrative during Holy Week, which would be very appropriate because that's where the revelation of Jesus came to its fullness. If you don't know Jesus well, you don't know God well. And if you don't know God well, who are you relating to?